What's up, Mooch Crew? It's Ellen Mooch here, and welcome to the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series Darlington Throwback Review. It's been a time-honored tradition of mine to review all the Darlington Throwback schemes that will be racing in the Southern 500 on Labor Day weekend, and this year is no exception. We have 32 schemes that are dressed up for the occasion, and I'm going to review them all. So before we get into this review, I'm going to go over this year's rating system. We're going to go on the super not cool, cool, meh, not cool, and super not cool rating system. Each of them act like a tier. So the super cool is, I really like the scheme, it's absolutely great, and it's a Throwback of the Year nomination. Cool is just, well, I like it, but it's not Throwback of the Year nomination. I can see room for improvement. Meh is, I don't like it, but I don't hate it. It could have been better, it could have been worse. Not cool, I don't like it, but I really don't like the scheme, but there are things I do like about it, and there's room for improvement. And super not cool is absolute failure. This scheme is despised. So, of course, I just want to go on record and also say that these are my opinions, even though I did watch reviews before I actually went and made my video. So, without further ado, let's get this review underway. Alright, and leading off the Throwback review, we have Starcom Racing's 00 Chevrolet Camaro driven by Quinn Half. Now, I have some questions here. What is going on with the hood? Why does it look like they're trying to give you a headache with the blue and white spirals? Like, you stare into this hood, it's an optical illusion. Oh my god, that would give me a headache if I stared at it long enough. Anyway, aside from that, the car starts off as a black scheme, and then it fades into a gray, and then it fades into a photo from 1936, I believe is what they're throwing it back to. Also, you can see that Quinn Half has actually gone out of his way and put his name on the side of the car next to the number. Now, that's actually common practice back in the day. Normally, the names would be above the numbers or by the numbers, underneath the A post. So yeah, that's a nice good touch from Half. Now, one thing I think is really cool is that you can actually see an image of the beaches of Daytona in the background, which is what they're throwing it back to, like a historical piece. Now, in the historical sense, 1936 was actually the first year of stock car racing on the beaches of Daytona, and it was organized by Bill France Sr. That set the groundwork up for December of 1947, December 12th, 1947 to be exact, where NASCAR would be conceived on a napkin, and then they would become an established business in 1948. From there, it became the NASCAR that we know today. This scheme is cool in that regard. However, I really don't like the hood. I like the details that they put on here, but that hood is throwing me off, man. It's an eyesore on what is otherwise a really great car. There are things I like about it, there are things I don't like about it. This scheme is going to be a meh. I mean, honestly, they could have improved upon it by, not doing whatever they did on the hood. I do like the gray on the top of the car. That's really cool. The portrait in the back on the car is really awesome, and I love how the black fades into the image. Like, that is so cool. I have no complaints aside from the hood. That hood just throws me off, man. This game is just a meh. I have no opinion about it. I don't hate it, but I don't like it either. Alright, moving on with our Darlington Throwback review. Here we have Brad Keselowski's Discount Tire Ford Mustang, a throwback to 2010 when Brad Keselowski drove this very scheme to the 2010 NASCAR Nationwide Series title, which was also Team Penske's first ever NASCAR title. Brad Keselowski would score his first Cup Series title in 2012, and then Joey Logano would win the title for Team Penske again in 2018, so there you go. Anyway, I've actually seen a lot of people say, oh, this scheme is actually very lazy, and I can actually see where they're coming from, because the the discount tire schemes really haven't changed much over the years. In fact, the current scheme that they have, and I have a diecast of it upstairs in my room, is actually they have a spike on the back, and then the black runs all the way to the hood, and the spike just stops there. There's no curve. There's no little. It doesn't curve over the tires per se. It just goes straight to the headlight. Other than that, yeah, it's pretty much the same scheme. I mean, come on, Team Penske. I've seen you guys come up with amazing Miller Lite throwbacks. Seriously, Miller Lite, come back to NASCAR. Extend your sponsorship with Team Penske. Add more races, because I really loved the Miller Lite throwbacks. Those were awesome. Yeah, this scheme is not cool. I mean, there are a lot better schemes out there that Keselowski could have ran, but they chose this one because championship and historical reasons, and I get that. But at the same time, you could have done so much better. And I mean so much better. This scheme is just not cool. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling it. And here we have the number 3 Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet Camaro, driven by Austin Dillon and sponsored by American Ethanol. And this, my friends, is a Junior Johnson throwback. We finally got a Junior Johnson throwback. Only took us, 6 years since this thing was done, since we started Throwback Weekend. Actually, no. The first one was in 2015, so we really don't count the first year. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, wow. Wait, what? Really? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, okay, so 5 years after the first Throwback Weekend, we finally get a Junior Johnson throwback. Now, what I really like is how American Ethanol went all out and pulled all the stops out. Like, their logos are on both sides of the hood, the racing stripe down the middle of the hood, the top. There's no stripe on the top. I think that was not there on the original scheme, but I would have to see the original Junior Johnson scheme. Other than that, I love how they threw the little Chevrolet. They threw Chevrolet's logo on the side of the car there, and the 3 has changed. They went all out on this, and I love it. I absolutely love this scheme. It's gorgeous. This scheme is absolutely super cool. A well-rounded rebound from last year's atrocity that was the American Ethanol throwback. And that, of course, was compared to 2018's throwback. If you all remember the 2018 throwback, which I did not get to review because they revealed it on the Friday of the Southern 500 weekend, right before they went onto the track for practice. I was so mad that I didn't get to review that scheme. I loved the number 3 Austin Dillon scheme from 2018. It was silver, and I'm a sucker for silver cars. Okay, I think I've gushed enough about this 3 car and the 2018 3 car. Let's move on. Moving on, we've got Kevin Harvick's Busch Beer number 4 Ford Mustang that he drives for Stewart Haas Racing, and oh my god, Busch Beer, you did it again. You guys created an amazing throwback. Now, the only thing I was actually watching Danny B's video before I made my video, and he was saying that the top number should have been red. I personally disagree. I like it white. I love the mountains in the background. This is a throwback to their old Busch beer cans. You can actually see the cans they're throwing back to on the side of the car over there next to the number. And in fact, this is actually a throwback to the champions of what was formerly known as the Busch Series, what we now know as the Xfinity Series. You all are welcome. And there you can see on the back, Kevin Harvick is a 2-time Xfinity Series champion from 2001 and 2006. But of course, that was underneath the name of the NASCAR Busch Series. And oh my god, they have the Busch Series logo on the back of the car. That is awesome. Oh, the attention to detail that went into this car. I love the old Busch Beer logo. Everything about this car is awesome. The blue, the blue background with the mountains in front of it. I need this scheme in my life. This scheme is absolutely super cool, and if I can find a 164 diecast of this scheme, god damn it, I'm gonna buy it. Okay, so our next scheme we are going to be reviewing is Ryan Newman's number 6 Oscar Mayer throwback Ford Mustang. Now, this is actually a throwback to Ryan Newman's 1999 USAC championship. Nothing like throwing back to yourself here, but Newman has the right to do so. He's never won a championship in NASCAR, and he's a champion on the dirt, so let him have his fun here. I absolutely love the orange and blue car. It's an orange, blue, and white car, but these are Denver Broncos colors. And if you all know me, I am a Denver Broncos fan, obviously, and I am just okay. The one thing that's actually throwing me off here is the red stripe on the run. Not the running along the hood of the car. And of course, I kind of wish they ran with the rest of the scheme and actually made their logo blue and orange. Made their logo blue and orange. Like that would have been awesome. But of course, I can only ask for so much. Now I'm not sure if I should be nitpicking about this, but why are they sticking with the original Roush Fenway 6 font here? Well, it's technically not the original Roush Fenway font because Trevor Bayne actually ran that one back in 2017. Speaking of Trevor Bayne, he's back in the Truck Series race, and I'm excited to see him race. Or at least I would be excited to see him race if I had Fox Sports 1. I don't get that one, unfortunately. Anyway, back to this scheme. I really like this, but I do have a couple of nitpicks, like, the logo and the red stripe on the hood. Like, I kind of wish they ran with the blue stripe here and then made the Oscar Mayer wording blue and had the blue stripe, the blue ribbon wrap around that. Like, yeah, that would have been awesome. This scheme, however, it's cool. I do like it. I just kind of wish they ran with the rest of the car for this one. Also, I kind of wish they went with the same font that Ryan Newman had on his 1999 USAC car that he won his championship in. Other than that, it's a good scheme. I like it. Cool. Just, there was room for improvement there. Just saying. I think we found one of our first few duds in this throwback weekend. Here we have Josh Bilicki throwing it back to Tommy Baldwin Sr. and his yellow car from way back in the day. I am not exactly a fan of simple color schemes. Like, if it's like a one color fades into another, that I actually do like, but here it's a plain color, and I know that it's accurate to detail, but you kind of wish they went with something a lot different. Like, I get it, you're throwing back to your owner's dad, and that's really cool and all, but I'm just not feeling it. It feels like I'm staring at a banana on wheels. Like, I know there's actually probably going to be a throwback of the banana car one day, and yes, that was actually a thing that raced in NASCAR. But I don't see. I don't personally hate it because it's one color, but I don't like it because it's one color. I kind of wish they went with something different. Like, they could have gone with the Darrell Waltrip Pepsi Challenge car. There you go. That's a good one. That was a good idea right there. I don't know any other yellow cars in NASCAR aside from the M&M's cars. Fuck me. I'm just going to give this scheme a meh. I don't like it. I don't hate it. I could go either way, honestly. I'm ready to move on. Next game, please. Alright, moving on. We got Richard Childress Racing's number 8 car, driven by Tyler Reddick, sponsored by Cat Power for this race. And oh my god, this screams 90s all over, and I love it. Oh, this car is awesome. This is actually a throwback to one of Jeff Burton's Ray Besto's cars. I believe that they said this was rookie, but I don't think so, per se. But whatever. Let's just go over the scheme, shall we? Okay, so one thing I'm definitely not liking is the little swoop on the A post. Like, that wasn't there on the original scheme. I noticed Danny B in his review video noted that the 8 was slanted the wrong way, but that's kind of the match Reddick's 8, I guess, but yeah, I can kind of see where he's coming from with that argument. That would knock off some points there, but other than that, I have no issues with this car. This scheme is awesome. Oh, I love how the red fades to yellow, and the yellow fades to white, and the blue is cut off there, and it's on the back of the car. I especially love the roof, how the blue 8 is on a red that fades to yellow background. This scheme is amazing. The only thing that I would change is the yellow swoop on the A post. Other than that, this scheme is super cool. Like, I love it. Aside, even with all the nitpicks I have, I fucking love this scheme. Please do me a favor, and when you come back for like maybe like 5-10 years down the road, please bring this scheme back. That would be awesome, and I would just gush over it again. Please do that. Please do that, Richard Childress Racing. Do it for me. All right, our next scheme is Chase Elliott's number 9 Napa car, and oh my God! For the first time ever, it's not an Elliott family throwback. There is a God, and he heard my complaints last year. Oh my gosh. Now, one thing I will say is I kind of wish they actually went with the Jimmy Johnson font for this scheme, but other than that, this scheme is awesome. They got the yellow on the roof, on the rail over there. That's correct. They went with the yellow. They went with a white logo. Oh, that's gorgeous. Especially since this is a nod to the Lowe's car. I love how they made the how the curve actually goes into the Napa hexagon, I believe, or is that just a straight line? That's a straight line. If it was the Napa hexagon, it would have been like curve and then turn and then straight and then turn, then corner and then turn and goes down from there. So yeah, either way, this scheme is actually a throwback to Jimmy Johnson's 2009 scheme when he had the record-setting 4th straight Cup Series title. The only driver who had actually, both he and Cale Yarborough were tied at 3 straight titles after Jimmy Johnson won the 2008 championship. So this scheme was the record breaker. And then, of course, he actually had a different scheme that went to the 5-time, that made him a 5-time champion. But everything about this car is awesome, and I love it. This scheme is super cool. Despite my complaint about the 9 not matching up to the 48 font, I love this scheme, and I hope to God I find it somewhere so I can buy this and have it as my official Napa car. This scheme makes me happy. Alright, so our next throwback we're going to be reviewing is Eric Almirola's Go Bowling Ford Mustang, which is a throwback to Fireball Roberts' 1957 Ford, which you can actually see in the background of this photo, which is really cool. Now, I will say that they nailed this scheme, although I do have some complaints. First off, what's with the bowling pins on the side of the car? Why are they doing that? I get that it's Go Bowling, but you seriously couldn't have, done something a little more accurate to the scheme? I don't know, move the 10 over to, under the A post, and then have the number, and have the 1 curved instead of, slanted like they do. That would have been awesome. Other than that, I see that they have Ford on the side of the car. That's really cool. In fact, that's actually on the side of Fireball Roberts' car that they're throwing back to. I also noticed that they went out of their way and made the and slapped hashtag Go Bowling in a retro styled font. That's really cool. I like that. This game is nice and all, but there are just some things I would have changed, and I would have been really okay with them. Other than those little nitpicks, this scheme is a cool scheme. I really like it, but I do see room for improvement. Next scheme, please. Moving on in our Darlington throwback review, we have Denny Hamlin and his number 11 FedEx FedEx Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, Denny Hamlin is actually doing a double throwback here. Now, the 11 is actually the exact same font that Cale Yarborough had when he drove the 11 to victory lane at Darlington in the Southern 500 in 1973. That same year, FedEx actually opened up for business underneath their full name, Federal Express. Hence why it's been shortened down to FedEx, because it's a lot faster to just say FedEx. Anyway, this is actually a throwback to their first fleet of planes, I believe. Maybe also their delivery vans. I wouldn't know per se because I wasn't around in the 70s. I was born in the 90s. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Other than that, I really like how they matched the font to Cale Yarborough's 11. I also really like how they went back to their old Federal Express logo that they had, and I really love the purple and white scheme. I don't normally praise schemes for being different per se, but I absolutely think the purple on this scheme works. The white on this scheme works. The orange stripe that runs from the side of the car all the way around to the other side of the car, that's actually really cool. I love this scheme. Hamlin, Joe Gibbs Racing, FedEx, congratulations. You guys have a super cool scheme, and I hope to see this scheme again, maybe not in the near future, but maybe down the road, so that way I can say, hey, they're throwing it back to 2020. That would be awesome. All right, next game, please. Hey, who here ordered a Paul Menard scheme? Did you order a Paul Menard throwback scheme? No? How did you not? Anyway, this is Ryan Blaney's number 12 Maytag Menards throwback scheme. This is actually the same scheme Paul Menard won his first ever stock car racing way back in his ARCA days. Yeah, ARCA. Let that sink in. Now, of course, I do have a lot of things to praise. I love how they matched up the colors of the 12, the outline of the 12 to match the scheme. I love the white number. It actually works on this really dark blue car. Now, also, you notice that they have 3 stripes on the car. You have red, orange, and the neon yellow that we've come to know Menard schemes for today. Now, honestly, this scheme is really awesome. I like it. It's accurate mostly to the detail. I kind of wish they did change the font to match the scheme. It's kind of like we're gonna go as much Olin as we can, but Penske does have that number that they like to use, or at least that stylized number that we know them for, and we have to incorporate that into the scheme. So this is our final product. It's not bad. I just wish they changed the font. It's actually super cool. I like it. I like it a lot. Throwback of the Year nomination. Congratulations, Ryan Blaney. Despite the nitpick of the number, super cool scheme. Next game, please. All right, the next scheme we are reviewing is the number 13 Geico Chevrolet Camaro that Germain Racing owns and is driven by Ty Dillon. Now, here's where this scheme is awesome. It's actually a throwback to Germain Racing's past, where they won the 2010 Camping World Truck Series title with driver Todd Bodine. There you can see the truck in the background. Now, I would say this scheme is super cool, and it's down to the detail accurate from, you got the Geico lettering in black, and that's cool. On the hood, it's white. That's really cool. And Geico's actually been around with Germain Racing since 2010? I didn't know that. Okay, well, apparently they were. Anyway, I would say this scheme is super cool. Here's the problem. They got beat to this scheme by Spencer Boyd, who actually races a NASCAR truck. You heard right. A Camping World Truck Series team, a Gander Outdoors Truck Series team, beat out a NASCAR Cup Series team to the exact same throwback scheme. The exact same one. How do you do that? I mean, I am all for seeing the same scheme on the same weekend and probably on the same day, but I'm going to have deja vu about it. Not that it's going to matter, but you managed, and I mean you managed to get beat to the punch by a Truck Series team. A Truck Series team. Fucking bravo, Germain Racing. Bravo. Unbelievable. Honestly, I do like the scheme, though. I like the red, the black, the white, the gray, the spikes that run from up to the A post. That's really cool. I love this scheme. It's a cool scheme, but again, it doesn't get the super cool because they got beat to this scheme by a Truck Series team. That's hilarious to me. Hey, Clint Boyer, good to see you throwing it back to Kyle Petty. Yes, this scheme is a throwback to Kyle Petty's 1990 Peak Antifreeze car. Now, I really like how they tried their hardest to match the font of the 14 to the 42, well, as accurately as they possibly could. I don't think it's an absolute match. I'd have to check the 42 car that they're throwing it back to. But I also really like how the Peak Antifreeze Blue has this pink stripe along the side of the car. Like, the entire middle section of the car is surrounded in pink and white. Like, I am mind blown by some of the paint scheme choices of the 90s. I am mind blown. And yes, this is a 1990 scheme. And that is a very, very hot pink that they're driving along the side of the car. Now, Clint Boyer is actually really good at Darlington, so this scheme actually might wind up in Victory Lane. God damn it, a scheme that I want to hate so much is actually going to wind up in Victory Lane. The problem is I can't hate it because it's mostly accurate. Now, Danny B and on his review actually pointed out that or was it his wife? I don't remember. But anyway, one of them actually pointed out that the Peak Antifreeze logo on Kyle Petty's car was like stretched across the hood, and that's actually because they actually had the photo to the reference photo, and Boyer's car is just like me, just condensed to the middle. Good job, Peak Antifreeze. You done goofed. Aside from those little nitpicks that me and some other reviewers had, I actually like this game. It's super cool, mostly accurate. I do kind of wish that I had a reference photo so that way I could actually see the differences between this car and the actual car they're throwing back to. But other than that, I give this a thumbs up. That's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I think super cool is too generous, so let's go with cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, there. Good. Moving on. Oh, did you want the epitome of super cool? Well, we got super cool for you. Brandon Poole's number 15 Chevrolet Camaro, sponsored by Red, which is actually the acronym of the company that sponsors this car. Throwing it back to Ricky Rudd's Motorcraft car. Holy shit, where do I begin? Okay, let's start with how accurate and down to the detail this is. First off, look at the number on the car. It's actually got a lines down the middle, making it look like the numbers have been split in half, which is really cool. Now, let's move on to the rest of the car. It's 1-for-1 the same, aside from the 3 stars, but that's actually part of the Red sponsorship. That's actually part of the Red logo, I guess. I think. I wouldn't know for sure. But either way, this scheme is very, very accurate and down to the detail. It is gorgeous. I don't know if I think they actually put Brendan Poole under the Rick Ware Racing underneath the Rick Ware Racing banner after they bought out Premium Motorsports, which is a shameful display, but this scheme is amazing and I love it. If that was the case, Rick Ware Racing, you guys get a thumbs up. No, not just 1 thumbs up, 2 thumbs up for this awesome scheme. You guys did an awesome job. It's super cool, and I give it Throwback of the Year nomination. Let's move on to the next scheme, please. Kyle Busch and his Joe Gibbs Racing 2018 Toyota Camry team have struck gold again. This is a throwback to the first M&M scheme that ever raced in NASCAR. Now, Elliott Sadler drove that scheme for Robert Yates in 2004, and I believe that he scored 2 wins that year, then scored another win in 2005, and then after 2006, he left the team and was replaced by David Gilliland, or was that in 2007? I don't remember. Anyway, this scheme actually is accurate down to the detail. Now, you can actually tell this is a much older scheme because of the brown M&Ms, or at least the brown circles on the car, and then you got the font that matches up to the Robert Yates font. Oh my god, that's amazing. Oh, I love the nod to Robert Yates there, Kyle Busch. Oh, you guys did it. You guys nailed this one. Now, what else can I praise about this scheme? I mean, it's really hard to praise an M&M scheme, but when it comes to these M&M schemes, you never go wrong with them. In fact, you can never go wrong when Kyle Busch brings a throwback. 2016, he brought the interstate batteries he brought the interstate batteries throwback scheme, the one that won the 1993 Daytona 500. And then in 2018, he brought back the Ernie Irvan Skittles car. That was like throwback of year nomination right there. And then last year, they brought the Bobby Hill and Snickers car out. I loved that scheme, and I thought that was a throwback of the year nomination. This scheme right here is another throwback of the year nomination. Super cool. Keep it going. You know, I was actually talking on the NASCAR Mino on one of the posts about this scheme, and we were making jokes about how it's similar to the one that he ran last year, and in fact it actually is similar, but there are some slight differences, and I'll point them out in a bit. But anyway, I went on that post and commented it like so. Truex Jr. goes to Joe Gibbs, and Truex says to Gibbs, "Hey, boss." Gibbs looks over. "Yeah? Remember that throwback scheme that I ran last year? Yeah, what about it? Can we run that again this year? Sure, but let's make it different so that way nobody is suspicious about it." So the designer comes up with this scheme. They both look at it and they say, "Perfect." I, however, am not fooled. It's almost identical to the scheme you ran last year. The only difference is that instead of a curve running along the middle of the car and yellow all over the back, it's only on the back bumper. The yellow is on the back bumper, and the back and the rear quarter panel of the car is just blank. Yeah, from the wheel well to like the bumper, it's blank. It's black, plain black, and then the stripe runs from here all the way to the rear wheel well. Like, wow. What in their bright mind decided that this game was going to be the throwback this year? And here's the kicker. They're throwing it back to Hank Parker Jr., which I wouldn't mind if he actually won a championship. No, as it turns out, Hank Parker Jr. only has 2 wins. 2 fucking wins in NASCAR's low second tier division of racing. I am dumbfounded by how this scheme got past the quality control. Like, there are so many other throwbacks they could have gone to. They could have gone back to Truex Jr.'s 2017 scheme, even though that would have been the epitome of laziness, or at least one of the epitomes of laziness, and we'll get to that later. I at least would have praised them for giving us a nod to Furniture Row Racing. At least they would have that going for them. And I could say that it's meh. I could at least give the scheme praise, but at the same time, I don't like it because it's lazy. But again, they could have done that. They could have gone to Jamie McMurray's 2010 car, the same one he won the Daytona 500 in. He could have gone back to 2007 when he won his first Cup Series race. He could have gone to 2016 when he won the Coca-Cola 600. Could have gone to any other scheme, but they chose to copy and paste last your scheme and make minor differences. I was not a fan of the 19 scheme last year. I'm not a fan of it this year. This scheme is super not cool. Please up your game, number 19 team. Alright, raise your hand if you like a good old-fashioned Tony Stewart throwback. Okay, now keep your hand up if you actually knew this was a Tony Stewart throwback before I told you. You can put them down because I know you're lying! This is a Tony Stewart throwback to 2005, and I believe Tony Stewart drove this scheme at Martinsville. I got a lot of problems with this, and it stems from the color of the scheme. It's red. It's fucking red. Why are they going with red instead of, I don't know, the Home Depot orange? Think of every single throwback. Think of every single scheme from Tony Stewart that Tony Stewart drove when he raced for Joe Gibbs Racing. They were all orange. None of them were red. Sports Clips, you failed us all. You had one chance. You had one job to get it right, and you blew it. Guess what? This game is super not cool. The only way you can improve it to a cool is if you actually made it orange and ran with that color instead of the red. You failed us all. Get it off my screen. Next scheme, please. Alright, we got Matt DiBenedetto's number 21 Motorcraft Ford Mustang that he drives for the Wood Brothers. Now, let me tell you something. This scheme is absolutely awesome. I love it. The white on top, the maroon number on the top, that's really cool. I love how the number is white on the side. That's awesome. And in fact, you can actually see Marvin Panch's name on one side of the car, and on the other side of the car is Tiny Lund, and that's over the 21. Now, this is actually a throwback to the Tiny Lund scheme that won the Daytona 500. Now, the story behind that is that Marvin Panch was actually supposed to drive that car in the 1963 Daytona 500, I believe it was. Yeah, let's go with that. I think that's right. I have to make sure about that, but it's in the history books, and I'll have to double check to make sure that I get that information right. Anyway, the story goes that Marvin Panch actually gets involved in a crash. Tiny Lund pulls Marvin Panch out of the car. So now Marvin Panch is on the hospital bed. He looks over at the Wood Brothers and he says, hey, could you get Tiny Lund behind the wheel of that car? He would do really, really good. So Tiny Lund gets the car and he drives it to the Daytona 500 win, and the rest is history from there. So there you go. An absolute super cool scheme. It's a good nod to history, and I hope to see this scheme again 5-10 years down the road. Maybe 20 at most. Just so I can say, hey, I remember this scheme when Matt DiBenedetto raced it in 2020. Super cool. Throwback of the Year nomination. Congratulations, Wood Brothers Racing. You guys keep nailing these things. Love it. Keep it going. Alright, moving on in our throwback review, we have Joey Logano's number 22 Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang Spawn that he drives for Team Penske. Now, this is supposed to be a Bobby Allison throwback, and I can actually see it in the design because of the star on the back of the car. And that's where my positives begin and end. First off, why is the 22 font not matched up to the same font that Bobby Allison had back in, what year was it, the 80s when he drove this car? Second off, why is the Pennzoil logo on the side and on the deck lid of the car the modern Pennzoil logo and not the classic Pennzoil logo? Third off, why is the Pennzoil lettering on the front of on the hood of the car not the classic Pennzoil font? Fourth off, why is the shell yellow and not white, at least on the hood of the car? Because the yellow is clashing with the red and is driving me up a wall. Fifth off, and this might be the most important sin of them all, why is it the wrong shade of red? It's literally the wrong shade of red. The GMS team got this scheme right, and they're a truck team. How do you get outdone by a truck series team? Seriously, Penske, what the hell? What the hell were you thinking when you came up with this design? You could have thrown it back to any Pennzoil scheme you wanted. You could have thrown it back to any scheme you wanted. you could have gone with a different Bobby Allison scheme because there are like 50 other Bobby Allison schemes that you could have chosen. You could have gone back to 1998 when Pennzoil moved over to DEI and Steve Park ran a black car with the yellow stripes on the side, and that would have been cool because it would have matched it. I at least would have had a reason to say, oh, this game is super cool, even though it's an invert of what they used in 2018. No, you guys went with this game and you royally butchered it. You fucked it up royally. Every single detail is wrong except for the star on the side of the car. Everything else is wrong. Just no. Fuck this game. Get it the hell out of my sight. It is super not cool. I'm done with this game. Moving on. I'm starting to think that this year's theme should have just been Let's Honor Jimmy Johnson, because here we have another Jimmy Johnson scheme. Hey, remember White Lightning? It's back! And this time it's on William Byron's car. Yes, William Byron is driving the 2013 Lowe's Power of Pride scheme. Now, this scheme was actually the same scheme that Jimmy Johnson drove to the 2013 All-Star victory, his record-setting 4th All-Star victory. Now, I do have one minor little nitpick here, and it's because of the red. Why is it like a darker shade of red instead of like the red that was used on Johnson's car? Maybe that was just a choice on Liberty University's part, but other than that, it's a really cool scheme. I love it. It's 1-for-1, accurate down to the details, and they actually make it work. This actually works for Liberty University because Liberty is literally in the name of the sponsor. Like, that is cool. What I do like is how they actually went with the blue stripes on the hood of the car and ran them all the way over the roof to the back of the car. Is that how the scheme looked? I think it was. I don't remember. But anyway, this scheme is really cool and easily another scheme that is up for Throwback of the Year nomination, despite the flaw of the red maybe being a bit darker than it should be. Super cool. Good job, William Byron. Good job, Hendrick Motorsports. I hope to see this keep going. Next game, please. You know, I'm starting to think that Kyle Busch and John Hunter Nemechek got together and they were both like, oh, I'm going to throw back to an Elliott Sadler car, but not at the same time. Like, Kyle Busch probably said to John Hunter Nemechek over coffee, like, yeah, I'm going to throw back to Elliott Sadler's M&M's car. And then John Hunter Nemechek was like, you know what, that's not a bad idea. I'm sure my sponsor's got something. And then this was the outcome. Yep. This is a throwback to the first ever Citgo car that we've seen in like 1999. I want to say 1999, 2000. I don't remember. Anyway, here's my gripes about it. I do like how they changed the font of the 38 to match the Elliott Sadler font used in 99. That's cool. However, it's red. It's a plain red scheme. Okay, maybe there's some orange on the nose of the car, and maybe there's orange on the engine hood running a little past the A post, and maybe there's some orange around the car, but other than that, it's red. It's mostly red, and the orange just clashes against the red here. Like, they could have used a different shade of orange maybe, or are they using a different shade of red? I don't know. Either way, this scheme is meh. I don't hate it, but at the same time, I don't like it. I definitely think they could have gone with, like, I don't know, Jeff Burton's Citgo car. That would have been cool. That would have been cool. They had a missed opportunity here. And that was a total whiff. It's meh. I don't know why, but I feel like I've seen this car before. I know why it feels familiar, because I just reviewed Eric Almirola's scheme like 10 schemes ago. Maybe it was 10 schemes ago. I'd have to count. Anyway, this is Cole Custer's number 41 Haas Tools Throwback Ford Mustang to Curtis Turner, who won the 1956 Southern 500 and is a 2016 NASCAR Hall of Famer. Yep, he was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2016. Alright, so let's go over the rundown of this game. Now, I don't understand why they're running with the little tools or drill bits on their car. What is that on the hood of the car? I don't understand that. I also don't get why they're running with the modern Haas logo instead of matching the logo, the Haas logo that you see on the side of the car. That would have actually been cool. Other than that, I love how they matched up the font, the number font, to be the same as Curtis Turner's car, and I love the addition of Curtis Turner's name over the number. That is just a nice little touch. That is awesome. And I also love how the side of the car has the Haas tooling matching up to the Harvest Ford on the side of the car. I don't know what that says on the underneath it, but it matches up to Salem, Virginia? Yeah, I'm guessing that's Salem, Virginia. My only other complaint is I kind of wish they moved these stickers over to the side of the car, so that way they could run a stripe there, like right there where it runs right underneath the Salem. Yeah, right under there. Yeah, that would have been awesome. Aside from those little nitpicks, this game is really cool. I do like it, but at the same time, I think they could have improved it like a lot. Maybe just a minor, maybe not a lot, but just some minor changes here and there. I do like this game, though. It is cool, and I look forward to seeing it on the racetrack. And with our next game, we have the 48 of Jimmy Johnson being a duo tribute. Yes, that's right. It's two schemes Frankensteined into one. We have on the top the Richard Petty, and we have the Richard Petty STP scheme. The Petty and Blue, iconic Petty Blue and STP Red that we all come to know and love and remember Petty for a good majority of his career. And from the bottom, we have Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s GM Goodwrench Plus Black Car. Oh, yes, all fear the black car. Now, what I really do like is how they actually matched up the 48 on the roof of the car to be the exact same as Richard Petty's font. What I also like is how the 48 is actually slanted forward. My only complaint here is maybe they could have done something a little differently. Like, maybe instead of like having a white line separate the two schemes, they could have had one scheme fade into the other, like, gradually. Like, that would have been cool. Or what they could have done is they could have gone with the same Frankenstein scheme design, but ran with one color palette. Like, you could have gone with Dale Sr.'s color palette, kept everything else the same. Or you could have done the Petty Blue and Red and kept everything else the same. I don't know. I prefer the gradually fading from Petty to Earnhardt. That would have been cool. And aside from that, this scheme is really cool. I actually like it, but again, I do wish they went with the gradual fade from the Petty Blue and Red, well, at least the Petty Blue and STP Red, to the Dale Sr. Black. That's the only way I can see this scheme being super cool. But I also do like the little emblem on the side of the car here before we move on. Like, I really like how it's just denoting that all three of these drivers, Jimmy Johnson, Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt Sr., they're the only three 7-time champions, and I doubt we're going to see another 7-time champion again. That is until Kyle Busch somehow starts to put it together. I don't know. We'll see. You ever have that scheme, that throwback scheme that you look at and then you have to take a double look and you're like, wait a minute, haven't I seen this scheme before? Well, that's exactly what I thought when I saw this scheme. This is the Rick Ware Racing number 51 ASC Carolina Cooker throwback Chevrolet Camaro. And the reason it looks familiar is because this is actually the Bobby Allison Coca-Cola scheme that Tony Stewart did a throwback to in 2016, 4 years ago. Now, of course, there are some liberties that the Rick Ware Racing team had to take because they're not part of the Coca-Cola Racing family. So, for example, we have the red square, which is accurate to what Coca-Cola has. However, the ASC is printed and not in cursive. Okay, fair enough. We got Agri Supply on the side, on the left and right sides of the car. Okay, that is very cool. Now, on the nose of the car, you have two number 51s, and they're a different font from the 51 you see on the side and the roof. I don't know why. I think that's accurate, but I'm not sure. I'd have to check the scheme out. And on the side, you have Carolina Cooker. Now, Carolina Cooker is actually very close to the Coca-Cola font, but it's not exactly the same. As you can see, it's printed, but it has its kind of dips and swivels and everything in between. So there is that going for them. Also, if they went to try and replicate the Coca-Cola logo, the Coca-Cola lettering one for one, Coca-Cola would have to make them pay up royalties or face a lawsuit, a massive lawsuit. This scheme is actually cool, and I do like it, especially since this is the better of the two Bobby Allison schemes we have this year. Looking at you, Joey Logano, for the worst. Anyway, sorry about that. This scheme is cool, but I have seen it before, and it probably would have been a lot cooler if they went with a different Bobby Allison scheme that I haven't seen before. Just saying. Rick Ware Racing, once again, your paint scheme game is very strong, and I hope you keep that going. You know, when Rick Ware Racing brings their throwback game, they really bring it. If I'm right, and the 15 car is part of the Rick Ware Racing camp, then that would count under their band. That would count as their throwbacks, and that throwback is amazing. The 27 is an awesome throwback. The 51, despite not being a throwback of the year nominee like the 15 and 27, is actually really cool. And then you get this scheme. What in the literal fuck were they thinking when they brought this scheme? Okay, so this is James Davison throwing back to Tom Sneva? Yeah, I'm not getting that name right. And I'm very sure I probably butchered it in pronunciation. My sincere apologies. So the reason they're going with this throwback is because apparently Tom Sneva or Sniva, again, I'm not sure about the pronunciation, was actually among the first IndyCar NASCAR crossover drivers. Okay, that's cool and all, but you know what? You could have done a lot better. You could have gone with a Robbie Gordon IndyCar scheme. You could have gone with a Tony Stewart IndyCar scheme. Ooh, those are really good ideas. You could have gone with Kurt Busch's 2014 Indy 500 scheme. Those are three really great schemes. But why stop there? Let's keep going. If you're going down the IndyCar route, you could have gone with Scott Dixon schemes. Ooh, those are always nice to look at. You could have gone with a Dario Franchitti scheme. Ooh, those are also another good schemes to look at. You could have gone with Tony Kanaan, Elio Castroneves, Sam Hornish Jr., Ed Carpenter, Buddy Lazier. You could have gone with Rick Mears, Al Unser. Could have gone with Dan Weldon. Rest in peace, Dan Weldon. You could have gone with John Andretti. Rest in peace, John Andretti. You could have gone with... oh gosh, I'm trying to think of some others here. But my point is that you could have gone with way cooler schemes. But yet, you chose this flat, monotone, one-color scheme. Also, is anyone else besides me questioning what Bird Company is and what Signing Day Sports is? No? I'm the only one questioning these companies? Oh, great! Oh, look, the font of the number matches the font of the throwback we're replicating. That's a surefire sign that this is a great throwback. No, I'm done. This scheme is super not cool. Compared to the other three that we've seen, this scheme falls flat. And I mean it literally falls flat. Never bring this scheme back, Rick Ware Racing. Ever. This is one of the weakest schemes I've seen, and that's comparing it to last year's 51 scheme, which was a throwback to Stroker Ace. That's saying something. Alright, moving on to Ross Chastain and the number 77 Spire Motorsports Chevrolet, sponsored by Dirty Mo Media. Now, this is actually a very obscure throwback, and if you hadn't been paying attention, then you really would not know that this is a Dale Earnhardt Sr. throwback. Yes, Dale Sr. drove this car in, I believe, 1976, if my memory serves me right from what I've seen online. of course, I'm just going off of memory, and I really don't want to do research while I'm filming the video. Anyway, I love red, white, and blue cars. I am a sucker for this car. I love it. The Gold 77 is a nice touch. I especially love how, and this is actually something I seen on the internet when I actually looked at photos of the car they're throwing back to, the hood had no sponsor. They have accurately gone out of their way and matched it 1-for-1. Spire Motorsports, you guys do an awesome job in the paint booth. I wish I could say the same for your on-track performance, but it's a slow build for you guys. You'll get there eventually. And hopefully you guys will be competitive, competing for top 5s, top 10s, wins, championships, and making noise. Like, I want to see that from you guys. Spire Motorsports, you get 2 thumbs up, a super cool and throwback of the year nomination. Congratulations. Oh man, you topped yourselves from last year. I hope you guys can keep going with awesome schemes like this, because this scheme is gorgeous. I absolutely love it, and I am happy to see it on the racetrack. Like, this is my first time seeing this scheme. I love it. I'm excited to see it. Next game. All right, our next scheme that we're going to be reviewing is the Alex Bowman Truck Hero ChevyGoods.com Chevrolet Camaro, owned by Hendrick Motorsports. So this scheme is a throwback to Jimmy Johnson's 2006 Lowe's scheme, and it is absolutely amazing. I love this scheme. My only complaint is I wish they actually matched the 88 font to Jimmy Johnson's 48 font. It's the same complaint I had with the Chase Elliott scheme, but other than that, I love this scheme. Everything about it, the Lowe's blue, the black curve, the everything about this scheme is amazing, and I love it. This scheme is like the image of a damn near perfect throwback. 1-for-1 accurate representation, with the exception of the number and the nose of the car, but we'll ignore the nose of the car because that's actually just the shield design of Truck Hero. This scheme is amazing. 2 thumbs up. Throwback of the Year nomination, super cool. Alex Bowman, your throwback game is strong this year, and I cannot wait to see what you have in store for us all next year. Can I have the next scheme, please? All right, moving on in our throwback review, we have Christopher Bell and his number 95 Toyota Camry that he drives for Levine Family Racing. This is going to be sponsored by Ream this week, and we have a reference photo behind my camera. So let me just move up the camera source, and we can compare the 2 schemes, and oh my god! What is this? Levine Family Racing. Can I ask you something? What is this? Why? Why this scheme? Why? I get that it matches up to the theme of, oh, it's supposed to be champions of the past, present, and future, and Christopher Bell is a NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series champion. Well, this is from the days when it was called the Camping World Truck Series. But let me ask you something. First off, why is this a scheme from 3 years ago? 3 years ago! This scheme was from 2017! I am blinded by the laziness. Oh, no, wait, hold on. I'm not done yet because the number font doesn't match. The scheme is red and not orange. You could have slapped Procore on the car. You could have slapped JBL on the car. Yeah, I mean, you mean you don't have their sponsorship? What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Seriously, why? Why? Just why? Oh, by the way, you couldn't even match the spoiler and splitter to be blue to say, hey, Christopher Bell is a Truck Series champion. See, we actually denoted it with the blue on his car with the spoiler and the splitter. Fuck this scheme. Super lazy, super not cool. Get it off my screen. Can we get to the final scheme, please? Alright, so we have one more scheme to review, and here it is. Daniel Suarez's number 96 Gaunt Brothers Racing Toyota Camry, sponsored by Eris. Now, this is a throwback to Daniel Suarez's 2016 Xfinity Series Championship season, which means that he's driving the same scheme he drove in the Xfinity Series in 2016. First off, Carl Edwards drove this scheme back in 2015. Okay, we saw it in 2015. The last time we saw this scheme was the early parts of the 2018 season, which was 2 years ago. So essentially, Gaunt Brothers Racing is throwing back to a scheme from 2 years ago. The least they could have done was at least given us a red splitter and a red spoiler. Did they even do that? Nope. That's the least they could have done, and they failed. Oh my god. This is right up there in the lazy department alongside the 2-car, let's see here. I'm trying to think of some other schemes that I deemed were lazy. The 2-car was up there. The 19 was up there. The 53 is up there. The 95 is up there. So essentially, we got 5 schemes this year that we can essentially call lazy. And this scheme is probably the worst of them all. Well, okay, probably not the worst of them all, but this scheme gives me a headache. Super not cool. Gaunt Brothers Racing, I get this is your first year of doing Darlington throwbacks, but super don't. This game should have been brought back in 2023. You couldn't at least have waited until then, because then this game would at least be 5 years old. Oh my god, just no. Super not cool. I'm done. Get this game off of my screen, for the love of God. Alright, and that's going to do it for my NASCAR Cup Series Darlington Throwback review. So like I said, I'm probably going to review the trucks in Xfinity later on down the road. Just not sure when. But in the meantime, thank y'all for watching so much. And as always, don't forget to keep on dancing. Move your feet to the beat. And remember, until we rock it again on the sound waves, I'm Alan. And I'm out of here. I'll catch y'all on the flip side. Here comes the outro. Break it down now.